Hare Krishna. No, you can take only this. We're going to keep it maybe at the end of the show. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Then you can sit in such a way that everybody can see everybody. You can sit in a circle. You can sit in a circle. And of course, everybody wants to all.
Not initially, but as we go further.
Rameshwar, please come forward. You can sit here.
Yes. Don't fight, don't fight. No fighting.
Only father, you don't have to come. Take five.
Are you leaving, Prabhu?
Yes, bro, I have assignments to do.
I'm glad to see you.
Yes, Prabhu, nice to see you again. Hello, Nana.
Long time.
Come here. Sit down. Sit down.
You want to eat chapati and back and then back is back.
When వాళ్ళ అబ్బాయి బూస్టర్ షాట్ ఉంటే వెళ్ళాడంట. ఈజ్ ఆన్ ద వే బ్యాక్.
Okay.
రమేష్ కూడా కూడా పాస్పోర్ట్
ఈ చెప్తే
లైవ్
On the video? Yeah. Very important. So please come.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, come for this.
Come
Not
forward.
many people can come here.
Come here.
I'll send them on.
No, you want the front, Prabhu.
Then come.
sing something. It's going live. So
Okay. So we'll just do a little quick introduction. My name is Naveen Krishnadas. So we'll just go around because a couple of my people.
Ramesh.
Shrikant.
Sequence.
Prabhu, say it again. Yes, Shrikant. Myself.
Bhargavi. Hare Krishna.
Gopi Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Sujata Murthy.
Trinad. Hari Bol, this is Karthik. The person behind camera is. You can take a look.
Shweta. Introduction.
We should have this name.
Just say your name.
My name Shweta.
I can't hear you. Padma, hear me. Padma, global introduction.
Please come. Hare Krishna.
Introduce yourself, Prabhu.
Paddu.
She can tell me about me.
నేను నా గురించి నాకు చెప్పాను.
AKA Padma.
Oh, Hare Krishna. My name is Padmakar. I work for Kroger.
So thank you very much. Today we invited here for Penu Prabhu's house. He's on the way.
He already came, I think.
He came? He said his son has a doctor
dropped
appointment.
him.
He came. So we will talk about something spiritual topic. You all can see me? Prabhu, if you can come this side, I cannot see this. Maybe I'll sit this side. Because eye contact is very important. You all can see everybody. Yeah, now it's good. Semicircle. That's good. Okay. today I thought we can talk about some basics. Basics and then connect that to the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll start with the basics and connect to the Srimad Bhagavatam. You all can hear me? Finish here?
Yeah, finish coming.
Okay, good.
Hari to
Okay. So, we all been called as Hare Krishnas. Like, ISKCON is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. International Society. It's not an Indian, it's not of a Hindu. It's an international society. What is international means? It's beyond caste, creed, demographic, or religion, or certain ethnic group. So God is for everybody. There is only one God, as many names. So you could have named Prabhupada ISKCON as International Society for God Consciousness. But what happens in Kali Yuga, God means no one knows. Those who know, they can think, I am God, you are God, and there is no God. Everybody is God. Somebody say A is God, somebody say B is God, somebody say C is God, this Baba is that Baba is so many things. So this has been actually predicted by Veda Vyas in 5,000 years before. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya pi upadritaha. It says in Kali Yuga the people are short-lived, short memory, short resources, short intelligence. On top of that, they are confused. They are highly confused.
Sorry all, I'm late.
No problem. So that's reason Prabhupada, without giving any opportunity for speculate, instead of God, he says Krishna. Why Krishna? Why not Rama? Why not Vishnu? Why not Ananta? So again, we have to go Dharmam ta Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Anybody can say anything. She can say something, you can say something, I can say something. But whatever we say in the spiritual realm, it has to be backed up with a Shastra. Shastra goes together. Shastra means weapon. Shastra means knowledge. Shastra also can be a weapon. But again, anybody can say any scriptures, but that's just Dharmam ta Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. It has to be come from God Himself. That's reason Parampara is very important. I should have a guru. My guru has to have his guru. His guru has to have his guru. Ultimately, it has to go to Adi Guru. So that the knowledge cannot be created, cannot be concocted. All we can see what we heard in the past and we repeat. So that's reason in this Parampara system, the Brahma is the topmost for this Parampara. He says, Iswara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anavirada Govindam Sarva Karana Karan. It's very clear. Iswara Parama Krishna. We are all Iswaras in the sense, Iswara means controller. But Parameshwara, the greatest controller. Who is that? Is Krishna. The God doesn't have a name, he has the attributes. Rama means the one who gives pleasure. Sri Rama Rameti. Mukunda means one who gives liberation. Achyuta means he never fall down. So Narsingha, the one off man, offline. So all this has a characteristics and attributes. If you put together all of them, what it makes? The one who attracts. The one who attracts. Akarshana iti is a Krishna. So the name of God, who attracts everybody, that called Krishna Tattva. That's the reason we call God is a Krishna. You understand? He has many names. You can call any name. They're all equal. But however, he is attracting us through his leelas. So that nature of attraction coming from God is called Krishna Tattva. It's very deep, very profound. So that's the reason Prabhupada named as international. It's not for one caste, one religion, because there is only one religion to love God. Right? There is only one religion to love God. So the God has many names. He picked the best name, which you can call God is a Krishna. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Is it clear? But what is the consciousness here? So Karthik, if I ask you, what is consciousness? What is it? What comes to your mind?
The attribute of the soul.
Attribute of the soul. What about you? So, consciousness. We use this word.
How we think, what we are related with something.
what are we related with? If you say Krishna consciousness, how we are related with Krishna, and how we think we are related with Krishna, in what way?
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Ability to judgment good and bad.
Ability to discrimination capacity.
Discrimination.
Okay. Very good. What else? Consciousness means.
Conscious, like currently we have two kinds of mind, right? Conscious and unconscious mind. So whatever we are doing with our conscious mind. So presence of mind.
So right now we are sitting here. Are we conscious that I'm sitting here?
Yeah.
Till I told you.
No.
Are you conscious that you're breathing?
We feel it.
Are you conscious that, like, there's something going on inside, being hungry or feeling like, it's a new place, I come here and looking around. How conscious we are about the surroundings?
Awareness and status of mind, right?
Awareness and status of mind. Yeah, it's a static and dynamic. So the consciousness is many people have many meanings, many understandings. So I want to touch about the consciousness from the Vedic perspective. So consciousness, there is a few types of consciousness is mentioned in Vedic literature. It's actually 5. Avruta, consciousness in Sanskrit is called Chetana. Chetana, the one is, this doesn't have a consciousness. This is the matter. Where there is a life, there is a consciousness. So, other words, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. When there is a life force, we call Atma or a soul, that gives, there is no consciousness here. It's a rigid. So, there is a consciousness in you and me or any living entity, which is a spark. And that, we cannot see it with our naked eyes. So, but it can be perceived through his state. So, is a symptom of the consciousness. Right now, if you open the door, what do you feel? Cold. So, what does that tell us? The symptom of the cold tells is a winter going on, as a summer going on. Or like if you smell something, eat something, based on the symptoms, you can find out, oh, it's a chili, it's a spicy. Like, it's a salt, it's a salty, it's a sweet, it's a sugar, right? So, everything has some attribute which tells us. What is the attribute of the soul? Consciousness. That's a nature. Symptom of the soul. You cannot see the soul. But the person is dead, for example. So, he is gone or she's gone. Who is gone? The body is there. But who is gone? The person inside the body is a soul. Nothing to do with the male or female, rich or poor, or Indian or Pakistani or American or animal or this and that. That's a living force. That gives a life for that particular body. As long as that is there, there's a value. That's called consciousness. So now there's 5 types of consciousness. If you look around, 5 types of consciousness, Chetana. One is Avrita consciousness, Sankuchita consciousness, Mukulita consciousness, Vikasita consciousness, and Purna Vikasita. I'll explain. Avrita consciousness means covered consciousness. Covered consciousness, again, this is not covered. There is no soul. All of these 5 has to have a living force. So, what is covered consciousness? For example, if I pinch you, you feel. Yeah. If I pinch the tree, does it feel any pain? If I pinch a buffalo, if I pinch a little baby, why? They have a consciousness, some are vipulita, that means blossom, some are covered. So we'll talk about the covered consciousness. I give one example, tree. What else you can see around when you go out? So it is there, you can see it, but the consciousness is so dormant and low, they don't even feel it.
Even these plants and all.
Yes, plants, trees, mountains. Who else? Creepers. So, mountains also have a consciousness.
Yeah.
Does it have a soul?
It's that's what is a covered consciousness. It grows. In general, in the past, in the previous ages, mountains used to fly.
Yeah.
Indra, there was a big story we can discuss about it. He cut them off. As Kali Yuga starts, there's so many features will be cut off. Like when Hanuman went to get this mountain, like you have the story. So they have consciousness. It gives.
So in Kali Yuga it is cutting.
It is degrading. As Kali Yuga goes down, it degrades. So, but there is a consciousness, but that consciousness is a covered consciousness. That's one type of consciousness. We all agree, right? We all see it. The next stage is Sankuchita. So from Avrita to Sankuchita. That means shrunken consciousness. Sankuchita. Like what else? It is there. It is shrunken a little bit. So the birds, aquatics, they do have a feelings, but trees also have feelings. In a place called Mauritius, there is one tribe. If they'll never cut the trees. If they want to cut the trees, what they do? They stand in front of the trees and they curse it, say all the negative energy, bad words. The tree dies. Then after that, they use it for.
Real happy.
Yeah, this is I read that. Yeah.
So trees, like even there are some places where the tree is growing. If you put something, it goes around and grows.
Yeah.
It grows around, like so. That's the reason it has a feelings, but those feelings are very, very in dormant state. So better than that is the refined consciousness is the birds, aquatics. Like the bird can feel for the children. It like you have seen sometimes when the big bird comes, they fight. Mother bird fights, cover the consciousness and take the eggs, put it in the corner, hide it. But this is the same soul because based on the karma, it is going through the transmigration. So initially, so there are from Avrita to Sankuchita consciousness. What is next? Mukulita consciousness. Mukulita consciousness is called budding consciousness. It is started blossoming. So who are that budding consciousness? Human beings. Yeah, babies is there. All human beings, once they were Avrita consciousness covered. Next is they went to the Sankuchita, which is a shrunken, then like aquatics, birds, big birds, and eventually they become human beings. So in the human beings is actually is blossoming, budding consciousness.
Will come under the Sankuchita.
Animals is actually
Like cows and
Sankuchita.
Yeah.
So human also Dvipada Pasu. Two-legged human beings is a Dvipada Pasu. This is not a four-legged animal, but it's a two-legged animal. They sleep, we sleep. They mate, we mate. They defend, we defend. And then they have feelings, we have feelings. But we sleep in a nice bed. We eat sophisticated food. We do all these things in different ways. But the state of consciousness and the activity is still same. That's the reason Manishi came from Manu. Manishi is actually refined living being. That's what is supposed to. Otherwise, if you do like animal, we call it as a Pashu. So if you behave like a human being, Manishi, that means which has a discrimination capacity, doing the right thing, when to do, what to do. Like she's mother, she's my brother, he's my brother. He's good, this is bad. This is like animal doesn't have. They just go with the basic instinct. Feel like to eat, just eat it. Feel like to mate in the street, that's what they do. But human beings know this is a do's and don'ts, niyama and agraha. That's the reason when if a person behave like an animal, that's the reason they become a criminal. They put him in a jail. Why? Law and order to remind that, hey, wait a minute, you are not like this. If you see when you're driving by, if you see a deer fall on the street, or maybe a squirrel fall on the street, people see they can do. But if a human being fall on the street, what happens? Suddenly they call ambulance and fire. What is the difference? The value and responsibility, right? So that's a next consciousness, which is a Mukulita. Next is Vikasita. This is becoming human being. It's also still human beings, but it's a more refined. Demigods. All the demigods, Indra, Chandra, Surya, they all fall into that. They're also human beings. They're not gods. They're demigods. Even somebody says Hanuman, Ganesh, all those things, they're demigods. If somebody going to say, Hanuman, you are God, he'll tell you. you did not read Ramayana? My master Ram is God, I am his servant. If you want to worship me, I can help you to reach to my God. Even Ganesh, this is called Jiva Tattva. It is clearly mentioned. Common people doesn't know this. They don't read it. Like, who is God? There is only one God. These are demigods. So they fall into this. They are refined consciousness, and the highest is Purna. Like yogis, munis. We are in Bhuloka. On top is a Bhurloka, Swargaloka, Janaloka, Taparloka, Maharloka, and Siddhaloka, and then Brahmaloka. And then these living beings who follow the path of Vedas and Yoga, and they come to that level. They are high. They have highly they can supernatural powers. There's so many siddhis, like Lavina Siddhi, Prapti Siddhi, Anima Siddhi, Vasita Siddhi. And there are many siddhis that people get. So they blossom consciousness. With that, they read Vedas and they understand who are they, what are they supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do, where they come from, where they go back. So consciousness is the same soul, neither that the soul is a tree or aquatic or Indra or creeper or a pig. Based on the karma, that soul acquired that body. And then because of that body, the body has some characteristics. Within the limitations, they behave like this. The pig eat, but what they eat. Donkey eat what they eat. Indra also eat, but what he eats. Huh? Yeah, they have their own refined foods. Like that, but eating is common. Sleeping is common. They also take birth. They grow. And then they produce offspring, they dwindle, they get diseased and die. These 6 stages is common, but they may not get old like you and me. They may not take birth like you and me, but they have a different cycle. It's the same thing. Sometimes if you see ant, if you put an ant there, you can see entire life of an ant in a week. And there are some, they take birth in the morning, afternoon they grow up, they produce offspring, they get old, they die. But we have a lifespan of 100 years. So now it is going down. One time it used to be 1,000 years, before it 10,000 years, before it 100,000 years. So now this consciousness is carrying the soul's desire in that particular body to facilitate as his or her desire to enjoy separately from God. Enjoyment is nothing wrong, but enjoying separately from God that's what demonic consciousness. That's what the Ravana did. He wants Sita. He doesn't want Ram. What did Hanuman did? He brought Sita back to Ram. So we should follow Hanuman, not Ravana. Bring Sita, which is the goddess of fortune, the energy of the Lord, to bring back in the service of the Lord. That's called devotee. The demon who takes, this is only for me. I want to enjoy separately from God. So they fall into this category.
Basically, both of them wanted Ram, but the approach they took was different, right? Ravana wanted Ram to come and kill him and get mukti. Hanuman wanted Sita to come back and give him bhakti.
Yeah, it depends on which dimension.
Ravana don't know about right. Ram gonna kill me and give mukti. So
He thinks he's going to kill Ram.
Yeah, he thinks that.
He thinks
He
that.
wanted, right? He wanted.
And until end of his life, then only he realized that.
No, he is well aware.
No, that's a different dimension. He's talking from Jai Vijay perspective.
Jai Vijay.
Yeah,
If you talk from that perspective, it's different. But if a normal...
Sanaka Samanda, right? So
yeah, that's small
Hare
children.
Krishna, please come. So now it depends on which dimension you see. So now if you see the dimension from what subject here, so we see Ravana didn't have a good intention. He wanted only Sita.
Whatever the life is having, right? That point of time, you don't know. Ravana don't have arrogance, knowledge, and
Yeah.
he misusing everything, whatever he has.
Correct.
We don't know. Ram come and kill me. Yeah.
In one dimension, yes, that's correct. Even Mandodari says so many times. Sugriva says, Hanuman said, how many times Angada said in Ramayana, but he didn't pay attention. because he's adamant, he wants to do his own way, right? So anyway, so that's how this soul transmigrate different species. So Krishna also explained in Vedas, there's how many types of species? There's 8.4 million types of species. I quickly say 8.4 million types of species. So how many? It says like, aquatics are 900,000. So specific. Aquatics, like all kinds of fish. So there's 900 types. Scientists are still trying to find out. But Vedas already mentioned 900,000 types of aquatics. 2 million types of trees. 2 million types of trees. 1.1 million types of insects. And then 1 million types of birds. And then 3 million types of animals. And 400,000 types of human beings. If we add all of them, so like Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Gandharva, like Asuras, Rakshasas, and even in India, if you see Indians, Asians, White Americans, Native Americans, Chinese, Mongolians, that in this world, if you go to Africa, the different kind of species, and then that's one world. Like there are so many worlds, so many planet system, and so many Milky Ways. So human beings, there's 400,000 types of human beings. These 400,000 comes from one after. First is, what is the first state of consciousness? Avrita. What is second? Sankuchita. Good. Somebody's listening. Third is Mukulita. Wonderful. What is the fourth? Vikasita. Final? Purna Vikasita. So this from inert till covered to shrunken to budding, blossoming, and complete consciousness, the soul is transmigrating. And this in this kind of species and different planetary systems. So just imagine, and how they come in 4 types. Either through the you and me, like through we take birth like human beings. Second, through egg. Third, to seed. Fourth, to perspiration. The 4 ways the soul come into material body. These are 4 ways. What is the first is humans, semen. The second is egg. So many kinds of species come through the egg. Third is seeds. Fourth is perspiration. So if you put a sugar here, where does the ants comes? If you leave a banana here, week later there's a bacteria forms. So that there is a living entity. Just imagine I was a bacteria one time. Imagine I was an ant. I was an amoeba. Like that, then I become a creeper. Then eventually as one of the aquatics. Then eventually animal, birds, then animal, then human being. Even among human beings, so many types of human beings. The finally come to the human beings have capacity to do atharto brahma jignasa, to inquire. Wait a minute. All through this, one thing is common, we have remembrance. We don't have remembrance, but we carried our desires, propensities, and then inclinations, thoughts. What it changes, but the core at core they're same, but details are different. When I was a lion, I had the lion desires. When I was a snake, I behaved like a snake. I carried that mentality. But finally, when I come to human being, those mentalities still continue. Sometimes behave like a lion. Sometimes behave like a snake. Some people are envious. Some people are ferocious. Some people like sometimes I want to relax like a tree. Sometimes we are very nice. So where these things coming from? It is there in the mind. Mind is a bucket collection of the thoughts, desires, and propensities, inclinations. Time to time, it just comes up. We behave different way. Sometimes somebody slaps us, we say, "It's okay, no problem." Sometimes even didn't say anything, we slap them. What is the reason? Like when people get angry, upset, when you get so we are actually rational human beings. It's called Dvipada Pasu. So after many, many lifetimes going through this cycle, like a different consciousness, and then before we get into the pastimes, now when we with this all these things, like 4 types of where the soul comes into body, and then 5 types of consciousness we have, and then 3 types of 4 types of ways human come into being, and then 8.4 million types of species. But now the last thing, stages of the consciousness. What is awakened states? Right now we're supposed to be. It's called Jagrati, where mind, intelligence, senses, sense objects are active. I'm seeing, I'm talking, you're listening, you're seeing, you're thinking. So it's called that Chetana exhibited and manifested in Jagrati. Then after some time we eat, we're tired, we go to sleep. It's called Swapna. We all Swapna, we have this experience. So when you go to sleep, what happens? Senses, sense objects goes to sleep. But still we're breathing. Sometime in that we have dreams also. Tiger is chasing, getting gold here and there, and then something happens. We feel happy, we cry, we also perspire as if what it does. Sometimes no one remembers. That's called, second is Swapna. The third is Susupti, deep sleep. You're so tired, you don't even remember that you have a dream. All exists, like it's only an ego. First is body, mind, intelligence, false, and Jagrati. When you go to sleep, the soul is there, intelligence, mind is there, but mind, sense objects is not working. Next, if you go to third stage, even the mind switch off, intelligence switch off. The only soul is there and the ego is there, but we're not even aware. So deep rooted. There, the only thing which is deeply rock bottom stage, then like childhood memories or my previous lives. Sometimes we have remembrance. That's called the people, like if something mental thing happen, mental problem, doctors do take you to that stage to hypnotize. That's called Susupti. After that, the final is called Samadhi. It's called Turiya. Turiya is that's where Jivan Mukta stays. They're living here, but they're liberated. They have nothing to do with this world. They do things like you and me, but they're not impacted. Something goes wrong, they're not impacted. Something goes right, they're not impacted. Their consciousness is in the soul level. It's called self-realized. Prabhupada, like Anantacharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya. These people come here to save the humanity who was still going through this cycle. Jesus Christ, Muhammad Prophet, all this, they come, they are empowered. It's called Shakta Veshara Avatar. They are being empowered and then they sent for a purpose to help others out of compassion. But they are not God, but their God qualities, divine qualities are more than normal people. Right? So, just to conclude, how many types of consciousness we have? 5. How many types of births? 4 ways the soul takes birth. Birth. Like perspiration, seed and all these things. And then now, 4 stages of consciousness. Jagrati, Swapna, Susupti, Turiya. All Samadhi. Turiya is Samadhi. Yeah. And then now, how many types of species we have? 8.4 million. Yeah. It is difficult to remember how many how many are aquatics? 900,000. Good. How many trees?
2 million.
2 million. Good. How many insects?
1.1.
1.1. How many birds?
3, 2,
1 million. How many animals?
2,
3. That's the max animals. How many human beings?
400K.
400.
401.
And then now, while this going on, one last thing is that they exhibited. Now they finally they come to consciousness. Okay, I am this, I am that. Why am I doing this? Why I should not doing? So now they develop some kind of a renunciation. I should be nice. I should be doing good things. So and I should not fall for this. I should only good things. I should only do good things for others. So they fall into four categories. It's called Faltu Vairagya. Falgu or Faltu. Next is Masana Vairagya. And the third is Markata Vairagya. And the fourth is Yukta Vairagya. Devotees falls into Yukta Vairagya. Markata Vairagya means monkey. It's no renunciation. It's a matter of time. Just to like, I'm just sitting like this, acting, nothing happens. Like, that swan or bird is standing on 1 foot in the lake and looking for fish, looking for big fish, looking as nothing, as if meditation. Suddenly it absence. This is Markata Vairagya. Smasana Vairagya. So what happens? Something bad happens, something calamity happens, somebody is dead in the family, and that time they remember, my God, life is short. I should be nice. Only should do the good things. I should not do bad karma. Then after that, what happens? Come back and continue the life. It's called Smasana Vairagya.
In North India, when somebody dies, they will have Ram Nam Satya. That is the time they remember.
They put a
Ram
white
Nam.
dress on.
Yeah, that is the time they will say Ram Nam Satya. Till the time it's all false. Ram Nam.
It's at least better. At least they remember that time. But that's not the purpose. So now, by going through all this, they come to the Yukta Vairagya. So now Yukta Vairagya means using our senses to please God's senses, to serve His devotees.
So Yukta means only engage or everything?
This Yukta is not young. It's Yukta means doing those things which please Krishna. Bhagavad Gita also says Yuktahara Viharasya Yukta Chetasya Karmasu. What you're saying, Yukta is Yavan. This Yukta in Sanskrit, Yukta means is actually
Related to Yukti.
Intelligence.
Yoga.
Yoga, Yukti, Yuj. Yoga came from the word Yuj, to connect. It's all come from Dhriti, Dhatri, Dhrid. They all come from the Mother Earth. So the Sanskrit words has. So the Yukta Vairagya. So what are you trying to do is Yukta Vairagya. Saturday could be anywhere else. When you called, she's here, we are here. So now he is using, or she is using their home for devotees association. Satsang is called Yukta Vairagya.
Regulated. Yukta means regulated.
Yeah. So it has many meanings. One of these regulated. So using house for this kind of things, using our resources for money, hard-earned money to feed the devotees and the Krishna. Does Krishna hungry? No. But our endeavor to show Krishna, I'm so grateful for you gave me so much, I want to give you. So now, having said that, what is the time? Okay. So I will talk about some pastimes. So far, you are with me so far? Is it something you can think about it and then take home these points? So think, so make us think like Manishi, not Manishi, Dipada Pasvi, but refined, conscious living being. It's a blossom consciousness. We are not there at Purna yet, but at least look for Vikasita, the blossoming, and every day we can get better. So now, having said that, I will talk about one pastime. It's my favorite. How many heard about Ambarish Maharaj? So Ambarish Maharaj, so in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto. Devotees.
Oh.
What is that?
Sumata's husband.
He put his name from his personality. Like, my name is Naveen, my birth name is Narendra.
I was wondering that name, when I read it, then I read it.
Good that you can connect. So Yukta Vairagya is connecting. So his father name is father Navi, King Navi. He's come from the descent. He's a descent, forefathers of Ram in Ishwaku dynasty. Ishwaku dynasty, Sagara, Dilip, like all these great Harishchandra, and then all these people comes in the future. So this mother, he's so wonderful, this king Abi, and then he went to forest to learn meditation, yogic principles from teacher, and then his brothers thought he's not going to come back to rule. So all his brothers took all his properties, a kingdom. He didn't give anything to him. By the time his father is also retired, and then when he came back, and then they said, "You have nothing." So he asked, "What is my share?" "Your share is our father. You get our father as a share to take care of him." He said, "Okay, thank you." So he goes to his father. He says, "Father, they say that you are my share." He said, "I am not anybody's share. I am servant of God. They cheat you." They cheated you. That's what happened in Kali Yuga also. They promised false promises. We should not fall for it. Then he said, he went back and asked them. They said no. Then he went. His father. He says, "What should I do?" Okay, there is a rishis there. They are performing austerities, and then if you follow them, if you serve them, then you can get something. Because a king by nature, he has to rule. Brahmins live by teaching, without expectation. Whatever the students give, they take it. In Kali Yuga, Brahmins also work. It says in Brahmana, Kalohi Sudra Sambhava. There is only one religion in Kali Yuga. Everybody is Sudra. Bhagavatam says Kalohi Sudra Sambhava. But however, those who are born in Brahmin family, Kshatriya family, or Vaishya family, Sudra family, they have given opportunities to develop them. They have more opportunities. For example, doctor's son. So they have naturally seen the facilities, and the judge's son or daughter. So they become automatically a judge or doctor. Business people, they business, and the Brahmin family, they get the Brahmin qualities by right from beginning. So they develop. But by birth, everybody is Shudra in Kali Yuga. Shastra says that. But they have opportunity to develop more. Whereas Shudra has to really struggle. Again, is the nature. In general, they don't do it. So the point I was trying to make was, these Brahmins, they were doing these austerities, and then this king, Brahmins has to make living by teaching. Kshatriyas make living by ruling and collecting the taxes, and Vaishyas make living by business, farming, cow protection, cows. Shudras
Working.
for what? For these three.
Working
For these three to help them. Carpenter, or barber. All these things. In the past is a barter system. So they provide the service, and then they teach, and they take care of these people. And these people, business people, they provide the goods. So that's how society works under Varna and Ashram. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. These are two wheels of society. So this is how the system has developed. But this system is not in the higher planetary system. It's not in spiritual world. It's only for Bhuloka. This Varna system, you cannot expect this in a Swargaloka and Brahmaloka. They have a different system. It is there in Mahabharata. If you read Mahabharata, it's all clearly mentioned. So now, this king, then I cannot beg. The king cannot beg. Vaishya should not beg. Shudra can. Brahmin also beg, but not to ask, but to give. To give the knowledge. This Manu Samhita has mentioned, what is the duty of mother, what is the duty of father, what is the duty of Brahmin, what is the duty of this and that. It's all clearly given. Manu Samhita.
Could be the reason why Sudama did not ask about
He never.
with Krishna.
It says that the moment a Brahmana works, they lose. They never work. The real Brahmana in Vedic, so they will never keep anything for tomorrow. Whatever comes, he takes it. Whatever is not needed for tomorrow, given charity. So Chanakya Pandit, even though he was a kingmaker, he lived in hut. He lives with whatever it comes as a Krishna's gift for me, the food. If it comes, I'll take it. Otherwise, I'm not taking it. They give that knowledge. They empower the people. They meticulously motivate the people. They make the things happen, but they are detached. They are not attached. So that's Krishna. Arjuna asked this question to Krishna. Krishna says, "What is the nature of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra?" He says, what is that? Shama, Dama, Saucham, Shantim, Arjam, Evacha. Shama, Dama, Saucham. What is the quality of Brahma? Forgiveness, austerities. What is the qualities of Kshatriya? Chivalriness. If something happens, that is they marry more. When fight happens, they will be the first person to face them. And then at the end, they walk away, they give up everything, they walk away to forest, live in the forest. That's momentarily the tax collection, they can only enjoy for so much, that's it. Same thing with Vaishya, Shudras, they have different. So now Ambarish Maharaj's father is a Kshatriya, went and asked these Brahmins. And then they were doing austerities, they're doing yajnas and everything. So they collect a lot of money, because a lot of donations came. But they have done, now they are moving on. So they have to dispatch everything. So that time he comes. Okay, they give all the wealth to him. They wash their hands, walked away. So then with that, he became a powerful ruler. And then eventually, he is very dharmic. His son is Ambarish Maharaj. Why I am saying is, what is his background? You understand what is his background. So now, this Ambarish Maharaj is so dharmic, so devoted. He used eyes to see Krishna. He used only his mouth to talk about Krishna. He used his hands to serve Krishna's devotees. He used his nose to smell the garlands offered to Krishna, the tulsi offered to Krishna. He used the legs to go to the temple, rule the kingdom on behalf of Krishna. Wherever he goes, he talk about Krishna and then serve the devotees. He is so devoted, and he is dharmic. And then he does one austerities. It's called Ekadasi Vrata. And then we have every fortnight one Ekadasi, right? And followed by Dwadasi. Today is Dwadasi, right?
Yeah, today is Dwadasi.
Yesterday was Ekadasi. So now he does for the benefit of humanity. For an entire year he was fasting on Ekadasis. And Dwadasi is supposed to break the fast with the grains. In Ekadasi we don't eat grains. In Ekadasi, pap, a sin, will be in grains. And Ekadasi, that's this, they use the sabudana, fruits and vegetables, milk. So devotees are not supposed to eat the grains and Ekadasis because there's a pap in it. There's a story some other time I can tell you. So that's the reason on Ekadasi, anything you eat grains, we are actually voluntarily buying suffering. So Ekadasi fast is best. Sometimes they don't eat, they don't drink. If you cannot do, next best, at least drink water. If you cannot do this, at least drink milk. If you cannot do this, take fruits. I think you follow. He follows.
Yeah.
Because some of us has a BP or this and that, they eat sabudana. Simple thing to make, which take less time, and then use that time for God consciousness. Because other things we have to make, so many elaborations. You have to buy, shop, cut, cook, and all those things. So that day, minimize that to survive what we needed. And that time, use it for reading, serving, hearing, chanting. And that day, it's 100-fold. If you say Krishna normal day, if you say Krishna name and Ekadasi 100 times. So that's the reason, if you do more, that many number of lives, what we're carrying in this 8.5 million lifetimes, will be erased. So that many steps we're coming close to Krishna. But just imagine in that day, if you do sin, it's also 100-fold. That many number of times we're going away. This is the Shastra says. I'm just repeating. So now this king, he was doing Ekadasi Vrata and fasting for humanity, for kingdom. And the next day, he's supposed to break. And here comes Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is the Amsha of Lord Shiva. He's ascetic. He lives in forest. He has a lot of disciples.
Somewhere I studied his incarnation of
Lord Shiva. Yeah.
Incarnation.
It's incarnation or expansion or partial. It's called Amsha. Incarnation is actually a wrong word that came from incarnate, like Jesus Christ. So that's the closest thing we can say manifestation. So they use the word incarnation, but in Sanskrit it's called amsha. Like amsha is the better word. So where are we? Yeah. So Dwadasi, there he comes. Durvasmuni comes with all of his disciples, and then Ambarish Maharaj went there to receive him, offered his water to wash his feet, and then he asked him to sit, and then he said, "I'll come for. I'm also doing Ekadasi. I'll go to Yamuna river, take bath and come back, and that time I'll eat. Wait for me." Okay. In the meantime, Durvasmuni is famous for angry. He's in the form of Asutosh. Asutosh is other name of Lord Shiva. He is easy to be pleased, but he can also get angry easily. But his anger is not anger you and me. It's a transcendental anger. So that means for Loka Kalyan, whatever anger, even Narada Muni cursed somebody, is not out of envy or vengeance, for our own benefit. So, but this personality is not Lord Shiva, but a little amsha of Lord Shiva. So he get upset very easily, and people are very afraid. He can curse because there's so much of power and things happens. So Ambarish Maharaj says he's not fearful, but he is careful. He told his subjects, okay, cook opulent feast, wonderful preparations for all devotees, so we'll feed them. So they're preparing nicely. In the meantime, time is clicking. Where he went? Take bath. And he's supposed to come. When you fast Ekadasi and Dwadasi, there's a particular time in the morning. Let's say today's Ekadasi, tomorrow morning, we have to break the fast with a grain. We fast with non-grain, but in Dwadasi, you have to fast with the grain. If you fast no water, you break fast with water or milk. If you fasted that day, Ekadasi, with no grains, and the Dwadasi you have to fast with a grain, break the fast with a grain. So take a little prasadam or a grain which is offered in the mind and take it. So that means you get the benefit of whatever is called phal as a result of that. So now he didn't want for himself, he wanted to give that for humanity. So the rains fall in correct time, dharma happens in the right time, things happens in no natural calamities. So for his good divine intention. But the time is clicking, he's not coming. He's waiting for his guest. The guest is doing? It's not coming. So finally the time almost comes. They give the range, right? Let's say from 7:30 morning till 8:30. 1 hour time you can break. So now 8:30 is almost coming. There is no traces of him coming. So then he says whatever he does the entire year, that is the last Ekadasi. So he don't want to lose it. Then he asked his priest, senior devotees, what should I do? He said, like, since you're fasting nirjal, no, not even water. So you have to break with the water. The water breaking, fast breaking, is at the same time breaking, at the same time not breaking also. It's not a food, but it's still a food. So he said, okay, then he took Krishna Charanamrut. Yesterday they bathed the deities, and then that water, he took a little 1 drop, put it in mouth. So that means the fast is broken. So he continues his life. In the meantime, he's still waiting. He didn't eat. He's still waiting for this Durvasmuni. Durvasmuni came. As soon as he came with his yogic power, he found out that he ate. In general, we should not do that. What we should not do is called Atidhi. Atidhi Apadharma. Atidhi Dharma is that when we invite somebody, first we feed them or we eat with them. Best is we should feed them. So now he ate before he fed to his guest. He got so upset. You're a king, but you're a cheater. You're supposed to lead an example. Krishna also says to Arjuna, yes, whenever I come, even though I'm God, I still go through the process. I go to still school. To set an example, the great person comes, he set an example, common people can follow. So now, we are not following it. You're supposed to be a representation of God. You are king. You are a liar. He started blaspheming, and then he's totally lost his control. And that's what happened. What is the thought process of a person getting angry? Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sanga sanjayate kama kama krodho vijayate krodho bhavati sammoha sammoha sruti brahmsa buddhi nasa pranashyati. So now first what happens? We develop a desire, kama, desire. For what? For my enjoyment. But kama, lust is like a forest fire. Forest fire, anybody can stop it? Nobody. So now, when it cannot be fulfilled, more we feed the fuel, the more get agitates, and then never the kama can never be completely fulfilled. And then now, when that is not fulfilled, kama krodhot bhavati. What is bhavati? Krodha. From unfulfilled lust, the anger develops. When anger develops, destruction happens at the end, but the stages
We lose intelligence.
lose, intelligence is lost. The mind is subordinate, supposed to be subordinate of intelligence, what to do, what not to do. Intelligent faculty is lost, the mind took over. When that intelligence is lost, when intelligence is lost, bewildered, confusion. In that what happens? Buddhi nasa pranashyati. And that time, destruction happens. That means they do anything, say anything, do whatever it's. That's the reason, like, if you're in love with somebody, even if you move we can speak with eyes. We have seen in the movies, like, when the male and female, they're in love, they communicate with eyes. And then when they get angry, they speak a little voice. And they're really angry. What they do, shout. They're right next to each other. You have to shout. Why? Intelligence is gone. The same thing happened. Durvasa Muni, even though he's the greatest personality, because of what he wanted didn't happen, he lost the composure. He started shouting at this devotee. And then this person, you know what he was doing? Ambarish Muni. He was folding hands. I'm sorry. I tried. He's trying to say something. He's not even listening. I'm sorry. I requested this devotee. They told me that to get the benefit of humanity, I have to break the fast. That's the reason I took Charanamrita. Please forgive me. He was following his speed. He's not listening. In that state of consciousness, what he did, he pulled one hair and then he did mantra and he threw on the floor. And from that, a demon, a ghastly personality comes out. And he says, go and kill this king because he's not supposed to be a king. He offended me. He's not supposed to do that. And then just for a little mistake, then just imagine what we do the things sometimes. Then we repent. I'm sitting and talking, so we all go through this. Because as we practice more devotion service, these things will go down. Supposed to be. But it's not that easy. So this demon went after this king, but he did not even run. The beauty of the devotee says he did not even defend it. He did not even stop the demon. He said, I'm yours. If this is what pleases you, go for it. You can kill me. Ambarish Maharaj. And then now, as soon as the demon came to kill Ambarish Maharaj, immediately Sudarshan Chakra came. Because he's a devotee of Krishna. What is the devotee of Krishna will do?
Always protect him.
But he did not ask protection. That is the duty. Nowadays, take care of my mother, take care of my father, take care of this, take care of my job, take care of I'm getting COVID, I'm losing the job, get me the money. Is the devotee does that? People go to churches, synagogues, temples. What we do? We open the laundry list. That's what we're supposed to do? No.
Where else can they go? They have to go there only, right?
That's better than something, but that's not the best. What is the best we could do? Ask. If you desire so, at the same time we are not hard-hearted, a rock. We have the feelings. That means we can ask. There's nothing wrong in it. But if you desire so, if that's good for me, if you think that's okay, you can ask. There's nothing wrong. But the pure devotee in this Purna consciousness, they will not do that. So Prahalad, we have seen Telugu movie, those are coming from here, Bhakta Prahalad, he always said, protect me. In actual Bhagavatam, he never asked. He never asked, give me the protection. His father asked, why are you so fearless? I'm trying to kill you with the poison, with the fire, with the tridents, this and that, throw you from the cliff, throw you in the ocean. You never die. What happened? He says, my dear father, I get the power from the same source you get. You're misusing it, I'm not misusing it. If Krishna want to kill me, who can save me? And Krishna want to save me, nobody cannot even pluck a hair from my head. That is his consciousness. So same thing, I'm talking about this because I hope we could connect the dots. This consciousness, refined consciousness, where this person went through. He was amoeba one day. He was this, yes, aquatic, was a tree, we're all. But how, as they become a devoted to Krishna, their state of consciousness, if you see. State of consciousness, that's where we can see. Can we even imagine, say that I'm a devotee? What is my audacity to say I'm a devotee? I love God, I see God, I talk to God. These are the symptoms of the people who have that caliber. Even they don't claim that. But nowadays in India, every street there's a God. Every guru claiming is a God. Prabhupada says those who say they're God, they're dog. G-O-D, D-O-Z. Even God will not say I'm God. When Krishna comes, he's become a servant of Arjuna, become a chariot driver. How many of us want to become a cab driver? When we doctors, engineers, businessmen, or Indra, Chandra. But Krishna, when he comes, he's serving his devotee. When Arjuna was riding the chariot in Mahabharata, his one feet put on Krishna's shoulder. Because he's so busy, Savesach, he's fighting with two hands, he's with mantras, he doesn't have a time to communicate. He put the foot on Krishna's shoulder, he says, left, right, go fast, he's communicating. Krishna is a God, he's serving his devotee in that position. When Ram comes, he's serving Vishwamitra. Meaning, if you see Ramayana, how he's sleeping on the floor, serving. So when the God comes, he also tries to serve. If that is a symptom, if somebody says the God, then you have to be careful. We were never a God, we can never become a God. God is God. We are his amshas. We have a divinity, like a God in quality, but we were never a God, we can never become. If something become a God, then what does that mean?
Prabhupada said, show me the proof.
What is that?
Krishna lift the
God can lift the. You don't have to go to gym and build the muscle to develop to lift the goat. Then no, he's a baby. When he was a God, he's a God even as a baby. 1 month, 1 hour baby. He's a putana. He kills putana demon. So that's reason. These devotees exemplary behavior they're showing us. What is the devotee means? The Vaishnavis is not a cheat. To become a devotee of Krishna after Bahunam Janmanamanti Jnanaman Mam Prapadyanti Vasudeva Sarva Samatma Sudurvaha. Many lifetimes, all these pieces, all this state of consciousness, many will finally come to the state of human being and accept Vishnu, Krishna as a God. And those people who become that, they come to that Ambarish Maharaj state of consciousness is very, very rare. Now this demon is trying to come and kill. And then he's not even protected, defended. He says, thank you, I'm yours, he can kill. If that's what the Krishna's desire, if that's what gives pleasure to Krishna, please kill me. When the moment he said that, and his Sudarshana Chakra comes, and he comes and chops this the demon into pieces. So Sudarshana is the eyesight of Krishna. Darshan means to see. This Sudarshana, this cosmic manifestation, material world, is created with a glance of Krishna. That's called Sudarshan. This entire cosmic manifestation, whatever you see, is a glance of Krishna. Like, he can eat with eyes. When we offer food, bhoga, he can eat with his eyes. That's another thing, we are not God. We have to eat with mouth. We have to talk with mouth. We have to see with eyes. We have to hear with the ears. The God can do anything with any other things. The symptoms is given who is God, who is not God. We should not fall for this. When God comes, he has a marks in his foot. It's been predicted when he's going to come, how he's going to come. He comes only in Brahmin family, because that's Brahmin family who has a Brahmin knowledge. They have a refined consciousness, or Kshatriya, because they have a little bit more defined consciousness, karmically. So where it's already been mentioned every literature. So now, after killing this demon, this Sudarshan Chakra, then it turns. It go after Durvasana. Why? He's offending his devotee. This person has a supernatural powers. He's an ascetic, and then, but he's fearful. So just imagine, he didn't stand say, "I am yours." God, do whatever you want. He didn't say that, but he ran in fear for his life. So that's another again a difference. The devotee, what he does, he is a yogi, but what he says, he ran out of fear. Sudarshan Chakra is behind. It didn't kill, it is right behind, he could feel the heat. He is running with a speed of mind. He went all over. Sudarshan Chakra right behind. And finally went to Brahmaloka. He found Brahma. I am your brother. Because why? Shiva also considered as a son of Brahma. So he is Amsa of Shiva. So he comes to father. Please, father, please save me. He said, sorry, you did a grievous mistake. I cannot save you. Even I have to take birth, even I have to die. Just imagine, the Brahma has a lifespan of 311 trillion years, 50 million years. Brahma is also has to die. You and me may have 100 years. He is a Jiva Tattva. He is not Shiva Tattva, he is not Vishnu Tattva. But is a higher living being with a supernatural powers. He is a secondary creator, he is not the primary creator. So he says, this is wrong what you did. I cannot save you. Then who can save him? Check it out the Shiva, I don't know. You can check it. And he ran from there to Kailash. And then as soon as he went to Shiva, and Shiva says, no, you are my Amsha. Where did you learn this? Why did you do this? Why do you offend Krishna's devotees? They are very rare jewels. You are not supposed to do that. Then he spoke. He spoke in Vedic philosophy so nice, and Bhagavatam explains why he did wrong, what he should not done it, what is the right thing to do. He says only one person can save is Vishnu. Go. And from there he ran to Vaikuntha. As soon as he reached Vaikuntha, he fell in the lotus feet of Vishnu. Vishnu took him. I'm sorry, my dear friend. I want to help you, but I'm helpless. He says you made a mistake, but the way he spoke very kind words. When somebody is in a grievance, we cannot say this and that. No, Vishnu spoke very nicely, politely. So I think you made a mistake. You shouldn't have done it. He spoke like this, and then there's only one person can save is the devotee himself. I am a bhakta paradhina. I gave myself to my devotees because they don't know. Manmana bhava madbhakto majjajam namaskur. They don't know anything other than me. I don't know anything other than them. They live in my heart, I live in their heart. If you offend me, I can forgive you. If you offend my devotees, very dear to me. I am a Bhakta Vatsal. I am not a Karma Vatsal, Jnana Vatsal. I can never be known with the Karma, Dhyana, Gnana. I can only known by Bhakti. It is said in Bhagavatam, when Krishna was a little baby and is crawling, and when he sees Father Nanda Maharaj going out, like when our father goes out to work, then when he tried to go out, Nanda Maharaj, at that time Krishna started walking. With his little broken walk, he just goes and takes Nanda Maharaj's shoes, put in his head. And he walks, Daddy, this is your shoes. Krishna is a God, serving his devotee who came as his father, carrying his shoes. And these people nowadays, Kalki avatar, that avatar, I am God, and this Baba, that Baba, I am a God. Bhagavatam doesn't accept that. Bija mantras, Vedas says who is God is established. The position of a God is established. Because since we don't know, if somebody says he is Bill Gates, do you all believe? I can say he's a Bill Gates because he has eyes, he has eyes, he has hands, he has hands, he has hair. I can prove logically this. Do you all believe? Why? Because you know who is Bill Gates. You know how does it look like. Because since somebody says I'm God, how do you believe? Because he has some supernatural powers. Because since you don't know God, since you could not do, he's doing it, he's God? No. We have to ask, who is a father to mother? The mother is Vedas. He reveals the identity of God. Who is God? What he does? What is his characteristics? Why is God? Then he introduces us to Father. The Bija Mantras, Vedic literature, Bhagavatam, Upanishadu, Itihas, all these things talk about this. This also comes from Bhagavatam. This is Purana. This pastimes illustrates connecting back to Krishna. So anyway, so coming back, and then Vishnu says you have to go. Then immediately with his mystic power, he come back to Ambarish Maharaj. Still he can feel the heat. The Sudarshan Chakra would have killed him, but it didn't. Even millions of years later, we can talk about this, discuss about this. So because he's not bad, but he did a bad activity, so we should bifurcate. People may have a bad habit. Even Jesus Christ said, hate sin, not the sinner. Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a hope. Because nobody is good or bad, it depends on situation. When the person behaves in a certain way, we consider good or bad. Then we have to close the chapter, move forward. It's easy to say, but there's a practically we can do that. So that's the reason Sudarshan Chakra is giving a benefit of doubt. If he changes, he may changes. Let me give one more chance. So now he sees that there's a transformation. He was right behind, but didn't kill. So finally he came and fell in the feet of Ambarish Maharaj. In the meantime, based on the theory of relativity, in the meantime, he went to Brahma Loka, that Loka, this Loka, Sailasha and Vaikuntha and come back. 1 year passed in Bhuloka. For him, it's only a few minutes because with his mystic powers. In the 1 year, he's standing there, he was fasting, without eating, without sleeping. That anybody can say, I'm a devotee. This is the standard. This is the standard set by who is, and this person even doesn't consider he is a devotee. This person even doesn't consider he is a devotee. So this person immediately, God says, I'm sorry, where are you touching? You are my guest. Where are you? I'm waiting for you. I didn't eat. I was fasting again 1 more year because I didn't feed you. So that is his consciousness. I didn't feed you. I'm waiting for you. And then you did not offend me. I'm not taking this as an offense. We're almost done, a few minutes. So I didn't take it as an offense. So you didn't offend me, don't worry, come, let's go eat. And that time, amazing realization from Durvas Muni. Yeah, this is the devotee. This is the devotee of Vishnu or Krishna. This is the world should be seen. And this is the Leela of Krishna, Vishnu, to show the world. And where are we? Avrita consciousness, Chetana consciousness. This is Purna Vikasita, the blossom consciousness. This is called in Turiya, the Samadhi state, Jivan Mukta state. These people living at the same time, their consciousness is in the spiritual world. The final residue karma is there. As soon as that is done, Janma Jara Vyadi, Divyam Evam Vyeki Katvata Tattvadeha Punajanma Naimam Arjuna. So once who does that, as they come close to Krishna, personally comes, or his sense is a devotee, to take him, and they will never ever come back in this mortal world again, where they go to the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, birth, death, old age. Otherwise, we fall in the cycle. You do good, you have to come back here to face good activities, results. If you do bad, to suffer, we come here. The 3 kinds of suffering. What is the first kind of suffering? We all do good and bad, karma, based on karma. Second kind of suffering is that devotees, Pandavas, did they do any bad things? They went through suffering, but did they felt that they're suffering? No. So that's the second kind of purity. That comes from purification. Third case, which is Ambarish Maharaj, which is suffering is there, but to glorify them, the Krishna give them. So first is through karma, second is through purification, third is through glorification. So at least even think about that. So now finally, and then he glorified bhakti, glorified process of bhakti, and the means of bhakti, and ends of bhakti, and then genuinely. And then he didn't take it serious, and then he fed him nicely. Then after he fed all his associates, and then in the meantime, then after that, he told him, now he eat peace. Then he fed him, then he ate. And the story ended there. And after some time, this Ambarish Maharaj, he continued. When the time has come, we all eat now. Then after go to bathroom in the morning, then flush it and come out. Do you ever see back? Because what was that before? Whatever we ate nicely, whatever our favorite food. But next day morning it becomes, I just give you an example. So like that, he walked away from the kingdom. The king, initially he was living as a king to collect the taxes, but when the time has come, he walked away as if he flushed the toilet. And he went to Haridwar, Vrindavan, then he lived his final days remembering Krishna. Krishna mana padara vinda, always remembering Krishna. The one thing we should always remember is always remember Krishna, or Vishnu God, and never forget. And whatever you do to facilitate that, to raise the family, to work, or whatever you're doing it, to facilitate that, Krishna's center, build your life around it. Then you will be protected from Sudarshan Chakra. That's our goal. The purpose of the satsang is that we talk about this, we remember, so that it will make something change in our heart and consciousness, our character and our habits. So, Stuti says, those who heard this story, those who appreciate this story, those who recite this story, they all get the same benefit. So now, because of Prabhu Mataji, so we got an opportunity to come to his home. We were able to discuss this pastime. We want to give a round of applause to him. And this facility is available for everybody. We can go to anybody's house. Krishna, we remember Krishna. We do some little bhajans. So now I'll end here. So any questions or comments or corrections?
How can I explain to my friends Krishna is the soul? That we are mostly discussing about everything is Krishna, right? So if I explain about my friends, no, Krishna is not, Vishnu is the power source of God. So how can I explain easily to my friends?
They're right. There is no difference between Krishna and Vishnu.
Of course.
The same person.
But mainly it's can be the name it took as Krishna.
There is a difference in the mood. So ISKCON will provide a little bit more aside. So there is not the same person. So God at home is Krishna. God at work is Vishnu. Do you ever see childhood pastimes of Vishnu? Stealing butter,
No.
playing with his mother, father. Because he is at work to maintain. When he comes home, who is he? Krishna. So same. So what they're saying is true. So now what ISKCON is providing the facility to connect you to God at home. So more intimate, more loving. Like, even judge. In the court, everybody stands, Your Honor. Then they have to do what he says. Then they say, Mr. Judge, maybe so-and-so, Your Honor. When he comes to home, as soon as he comes home, his mother says, hey, come, give me water. Wife says, do this. Grandchildren come jump on him. He carries his grandchildren on his, like an elephant on his back, his place. So now, which is more sweeter? At home. Relationship with the mother, brother, father. So same thing, the God at home is Krishna. So he is inviting us to his home. If you want to worship his Vishnu, perfectly all right. Like Ram served by Hanuman, perfectly all right.
But we don't have particular Vishnu temples. Right? We mostly have worship Ram, Krishna, Lakshmi Narasimha. There are Vishnu avatars, but we're not doing exactly as protector of
Vishnu. There is no temple because he was being cursed by Tulasi when he was Shalagram. There is a different pastime, maybe some other time. But the same Vishnu, as Ram comes, Araha, Vamana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Padmanabha. How many Vishnus you have? There are different names. As I said, God doesn't have one name. We exhibit the characteristics, attributes. So unless you know it, how do you explain to him? So common people say, now they know it, so what is next? It's not something, they are logically struck with that. So now why we have to debate on who is great, this and that? We are not here to prove who is great, that is not the Vishnu. If they love Krishna, Vishnu, what is wrong? Perfectly all right. For us to help them to become a God consciousness, a Vishnu conscious, Krishna conscious, that is what we should do. But not somebody's going to debate, okay, no problem. Anyway, they will know one day. We cannot make who's great. So that's what we do initially. That's not desirable. So we are not here to establish a religious principle saying who's great. We are here to connect them to God. Whatever aspect, whatever they are, whatever the caste and creed where they come from, somehow make their faith strong and connect to God. That is the purpose. That's what Shankaracharya did, Jesus Christ did, that's what Muhammad Prophet did, Madhvacharya did, all these great saints. Connect. And then, how do you connect? Through your character, through your actions also. Be kind to them, giving prasadam, and whatever they are, appreciate them. So that, by looking at, my god brother always says, in college, if you study well, by looking at you, by your character, your marks and your intelligence, they will follow you. And they will follow also what you follow. But one thing they will do, they will never follow if that you are a bad student. Right? Because why? There's no example we're setting up. Devotee is an exemplary in character. But I'm not devotee yet, trying to be. But we all have potential. So that one day, this is the bar. At least I can. So there's a bar set by Arjuna, bar Prahlad Maharaj. But we can ask. Good question. Any other questions or comments?
Reyansh has one question.
Why Krishna have feather in his head?
Wonderful. Wonderful. There is no answer for that. Because he likes it.
He likes it.
He's looking.
No, I heard there's a story actually. The peacocks, they'll actually all dance together. Then peacock, the king of the peacocks, they actually asked Krishna to actually having them on the head. Then Krishna accepted the feather and just kept it on the head.
The story is not mentioned in scriptures, but the supporting stories from Sthala Purana.
Right, yeah.
So that's a different. But technically, where somebody asks why Krishna is blue.
Feather is the symbolic of brahmacharya.
There are so many different descriptions are there, but there is not an absolute answer. Let's say I'm from South India. I like sambar. Why do I like sambar? It's my person. I like it. He's also a person. God is a person. He says, Patram Pushpam Palantyam. This is what I like. I like to wear blue dress. There is no logical reason. But we can have technical reasons. These are all technical.
Yeah.
So why is blue? Because if you see anything deep is blue. If you see sky. Is the sky is blue? When you go there, do you see any blue there? Is the ocean is blue? If you see from the top.
Universal color is white.
Anything deep, God is deep. It color in that Sanskrit. What is Sanskrit color? Blue. Neel. That's a Sanskrit word for color. So anything deep is Sham. Thank you. So that's a blue. He's a person. He has a personality. He has some likes, dislikes. But technically, you can say so many things this and that. Why he has Vaijayanti Mala? Somebody gave. Why is the Kaustubi visual? All those things as a detail. Absolute way. So he's a person. He likes it. He likes tulsi. He likes butter. Is there any reason? He likes it. Good question, but yeah.
He left without listening.
Okay, now we can explain to him.
So Prabhu, we would like to hear Kapil Gita, maybe next few classes.
Kapil Gandhar.
In Ramayana,
Maybe one final question.
Yeah,
We'll discuss during Prashant.
yeah, we can discuss that time also.
You sit, you can sit
Sita,
with us.
Maya Sita, I want to know about why. It's
Yeah.
usually mentioned in the scriptures, and some of the versions of Ramayana are talking about Maya Sita, and some of the versions not talking about Maya Sita. Do exist Maya Sita?
Yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Like,
revealed that.
but even if Ram knows she was Maya Sita, why Rama asked her Agni Pariksha?
Because that's Maya Sita. So why, see, when Ravanasura, I'll just say this, when Ravanasura tried to abduct Sita, he's a kami. That means he's a bhogi. That means he is a sinful person. Can he touch Sita?
No, he can't.
So, but he took her. Who is that? When she crashed,
With the land, right?
no, it's actually she crashed into the fire, like, there's some versions they took the land. No, he hold her. He hold her hand.
Touch her.
Yeah, touch her. When that happens, Agni came and took real Sita. And the other Sita, this is the imitate Sita, who is Vedavati. Vedavati is actually, and I have to tell this to complete this. There's one time when king was there, he wants to have Lakshmi as a daughter like Lakshmi. Then he did tapasya for many years. And finally Lakshmi is so pleased, she came, she asked, what do you want? I want a daughter like you. There's nobody like me. I have to be like your daughter. I have to become your daughter. So she became, Hamsa became Vedavati, her daughter. So now he was serving her, taking care of her so nicely. Time has passed, and then now she has come to the marriage age. And then now, who will marry Lakshmi?
Krishna.
It has to be. And then now she said, I will go and meditate for my husband. So anything good is Igna. So she was meditating on Vishnu so that Vishnu come and marry. When that's going on, Ravanasura going in his aeroplane. And that time whomever he sees, either he rapes or he loot, and then this is what he does it. So when he came here, when she saw her, Vedavati, and then she's an ascetic, and then she said, I want to marry you. She said, get lost. I am a property of Vishnu. Then she said, forcefully, he tried to touch her, and then she burned herself to ashes. But she took that ashes, carried to Lanka. And then when Mandodari saw that, and then then she saw the little baby. And then this is very dangerous, you should not. Then he should throw this out. So she sent her father, Maya Dana, with that, and then she carried that ashes to one place and bury them. That's where this Putra Kamesti, that was Janaki. That's where she came from. That's where she came from. It's all there. Everything is connected. That's how she became Sita. So, but that aspect of burn, that Vedavati was still in a subtle form with a fire god. When this Ravana tried to take this Sita to kidnap, and this Sita went back to fire, and then Vedavati came into fire. What Ravana had with her for 9 months is a Vedavati. It's imitated Sita. Desired to become a wife of Ram. So now she has that position for 9 months. So when everything is done, when she came back, when Ramayana war is over, and what did Ram ask? This is a very loaded question. I want my Sita back. Where is the Sita?
The fire.
So how do you get the Sita?
With the fire.
Yes. So she has to enter the fire, and then she went back, and then the desire is not fulfilled yet. So she became Bhudevi. Two wives. So it's all interlinked. Everything is linked.
But so many misconceptions about
Because we don't know. Because that's what I'm trying to show you is my Bill Gates. Because since you don't know, you believe. If you read it, how many people read it? I was doing other day, I was giving class in Sai Baba Temple, I asked how many people are here, 1,000 people are there. And I asked how many people heard about Bhagavad Gita? Everybody. I asked how many people read Gita? I count 35 people. I asked how many people are practicing? Not even one hand. Not even one hand. But we call we Hindus.
Yeah.
We appreciate Muslim because they do 5 time namaz, they read Quran. We appreciate Christians, they read Bible every day. But how many of us are reading Mahabharata, Ramayana? So that's.
So I want to say something. Like a young girl, I met her in Florida. She is Hindu. So she approached me that I am. and she came to me and asking, Akka, what is this? So what do you do? Even I have that. All my friends who are Muslims and Christians, they're doing the Bible and Quran very like perfectly. They're practicing it, but I never did it because my parents have never told about it, and I have never heard about it. So here in States, we never do puja at home also. So what do you do? She was like very enthusiastic to know. And I heard that she also went to New Vrindavan once in a while. I mean, like even kids don't know like what is happening, like what is.
So biggest altar for us is the TV, and we give them the kids, and this and that. What happened? What do we expect? So somehow or other we have to connect them. So now these kids are very fortunate. When I was a kid, I didn't have this opportunity, but now they have an opportunity. But the parents can make this happen. So we'll end here.
Yeah.
So Prabhu said, you want to one round japa or it's too late?
Because we should be.
If you want to do japa in the
8:30
future, we
something.
have some beads extra.
Yeah.
Say Hari Bol,
Hari
everybody.
Bol.
Hari Bol.